Hi, I'm Vito, and today I'm going to be taking you through how to customize the layout in Mixing Station. If you're not familiar with Mixing Station, it's a highly customizable third-party app that allows you to remotely control a variety of different mixers from different brands. It's known for its speed, flexibility, and reliability. If you're new to Mixing Station, I highly recommend you check out the overview video I did here. The link is in the description below. Custom layouts are one of the best features in Mixing Station because it allows you to have everything on one screen so you don't have to dig through menus for things you regularly use. You can also save a bunch of different layouts, so if you have a small corporate event you regularly do or a large band, you could save different layouts for each of those and then just recall them when you're working that gig. Today I'm going to be taking you through how I customize the layout for an 11-piece band I regularly work with, and I'll be using my X32 Rack to demo it, but you can use any mixer that's compatible with Mixing Station. Some minor things may vary, but the fundamentals will remain the same. Without further ado, let's jump into it. You're going to want to tap on the cog in the top right of the menu to access the settings, and then go to the Layouts tab to create a new layout by pressing the plus. If you tap on the cog again in the top right, this is the layout settings, and you can name it under the name area, or you could change the behavior. By default, the first custom layout that you create will override the mixer's default, but if you'd like to go back to the original Mixing Station layout, you could just delete your custom layout and it'll go back. You could also tap on behavior here. You'll see it says override mixer layout, but you could switch it to open on startup, or you could go to default, which will mean that you have to load the layout every time if you would like. So for now, we'll keep it on override mixer layout. You could set it to read only if you would like it to not be modifiable, and you could choose password on exit if you have a setup that's, let's say, an installation, and you're the admin and you want to just give a custom layout to users who you don't want to be able to exit the layout. You could choose to set a password on exit. The orientation option allows you to have a separate layout for if it's landscape or portrait, depending how you hold the tablet. I'm going to leave it on combined right now, which means it'll be the same layout for both. And you could choose to turn on or off the top menu. I'm going to leave it on here. Next, you can see it says size and move here towards the left. That means if I tap on something, I can resize it using the corner or move it by dragging it around. If I tap on size and move again, it'll be set to resize, which means I won't be able to move it, but it'll just be resizing. And if I tap it again, it'll go to move, which means it'll just move things around, and there's no resizing it in the corner. Now, if you want to undo something you've done, you've got the little back arrow on the right side there, and you hit it a couple times. That's undo. We're back to our original. The little layout looking button, if you press it, will allow you to change the size of the grid that you're snapping to. So it gets bigger, and then if you keep going, it'll go back to the smallest, most discrete one. I like this because it allows some fine detail on my screen, but maybe you want a larger grid to snap to. The preview option allows you to not resize or move, and allows you to actually test out the layout as if you were mixing. But what we're really here for is the little plus button here, which allows us to add custom UI items. There are a lot of different UI items we can add here, and I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'll show you the ones that I find the most useful and how I set them up on the screen. So there's some presets, and we've got bus master channel, mute group, sends on fader, tap delay as the presets. Just to show you, I'll start with the tap delay. I find this to be one of the most useful items anyhow. So right here, we can drag it down, and I like to put it in the bottom right corner so that when I'm holding the tablet mixing, it's where my thumb is. And you'll see three little icons above the button. The gear icon allows you to customize what the item does. The middle one allows you to copy the item, and you can paste a new one. You can also paste an increment. So if we paste it, it'll be a new one right above. And then you've also got the trash to delete it. So let's tap on this one, and we'll go into edit it. In the edit window, you'll see there's a label where you can set text for the UI element, or you can use dynamic values for the label. Right here, you'll see it's label and value. Those are part of the dynamic set of labels you can assign. Here they are straight from the Mixing Station manual. I'm going to leave it like this. You can change the margin, so this is how much space is around the label. I like to leave it at 1. The visibility, so you could set it to only show on Sends on Fader or not show when you're on Sends on Fader if it's something that is specifically for your main mix. And you can turn the label on or off if you want to have it be a blank button. I like to leave it like this. You could change the style, so regular will keep it with the theme that you already have set in your app settings, or you could choose a color for it. Let's set this one to blue. If you hit add, you can fully customize it here. Change the border color, for example. We can set it to be whatever we would like. And you could change where the text is. Let's leave this one center. You can change the text format. If you have long text, for example, you could set it to wrapped, and you can change the text size. Over on the right, you have the actions area, which is where we're going to define what this button is going to do when we take action with it. So a click is when you tap on it and lift off your finger. A long click means you'll have to hold a little bit longer for the action to take place. Touch means the action takes place the moment you touch it. You don't have to lift your finger off. It happens immediately. Momentary means you press it down and the action takes place, and when you lift off, it's deactivated. And color will allow you to have some visual feedback. So if it's a mute group, for example, you could set it to red when it's muted or green when it's unmuted. So for the tap delay, we want it to happen the moment we touch it. So that's already set up. And here, if we hold down on the action, we have a few different options. We can edit, copy, delete, or move up and down. So we're going to tap edit. And in here, you can see that this is set to the tap delay on my first effect right now, which is my reverb. But I would like it to go to the stereo delay here. And I want it to go tap time, tap primary. We can hit back, back. And now we can see that it is flashing in time with its tap. If I tap on preview, I could show you here if I have a very fast delay or a very slow delay. And you can see the label was set so that it would be dynamic, so it changes the milliseconds the delay is set to every time we tap it. Okay, let's get out of preview, and let's go back to add another item. Let's start with a mute group. We could put it down here. Now, if I tap on that, it'll mute my whole band, but that's a little risky. So I'm going to go into the settings, and instead of clicking on it, I'm going to set it to a long click. So what we could do is hold this down, go copy, and we're going to paste it under long click. Then we'll hold this down again, delete it, and go back. Now if I go to the preview, I could show you that tapping it will not mute the band. However, if I hold on to it, then I'll mute the band. And this means that while I'm mixing, I'm not going to accidentally bump it and mute the whole band. I have to actively want to mute them. Let's add another mute group for effects if we want to mute the effects between songs. So we got to get out of the preview and we'll hit the plus and we can go mute group. And we need some more room to fit this in now, so let's resize the sidebar. Bring it up about halfway. And we'll do the Sends on Fader bar while we're at it. That gives us plenty of space to play with our buttons here. All right. So our new mute group button is also the band. So we're going to want to tap on this, go into the settings, and we'll hold down mute group 1 here, and we will edit this to be my effects mute group, which is mute group 3. And it's cool if that's just a quick tap because it's not really going to ruin my show if I tap it in the middle of a song. And usually what I want is to be able to shut it off immediately once a song is done if the singer is speaking to the audience. Let's go ahead and add my third mute group actually will be the monitors. And I like having this because if there's some sort of feedback issue or I'm just not running the band and there's a speech going on, I can mute the monitors and we don't have any sort of extra noise on stage. but we'll also make this one require a long tap. Great, now we have all 3 mute groups and a tap tempo on the main screen, so I don't have to dig through menus during a show. But one thing I'd like to add is the feedback on the delay. So we're gonna add a knob here by going to the plus again. And we're gonna go into General, which will allow you to add a custom version of pretty much anything that the app offers. So we're gonna go Knob. We could put it right above our delay. We'll hit the cog, and here you see there's a lot less options than a button, but it's a knob. So you hit Add Action here. Up top, you'll see the action type area where you can choose whether or not the knob itself is active or not. If you deactivate it, you just won't be able to use it. So we want it active. Here you see current channel, which means the knob is going to affect the currently selected channel with whatever value we choose down below. However, that's not what I'm looking to do. I would like it to affect my effects, which you can find under console, and I want it to affect the stereo delay. I'd like to change the feedback with it. So since it's a stereo delay, there's a feedback for the left and right. So we'll choose the feedback left, go back, and you'll see it's already set up there. If I tap on it and I copy it and paste it, now what I could do is select paste and increment, and it'll give me a knob for my feedback right. So we'll put the left one on the left, the right one on the right. And if I want, I can push them up with 2 fingers like this. I'll show you with the preview. Roll them back or crank them up if I want to create some crazy long delay effect. That actually doesn't give me a lot of room to move up and down here. So maybe what I'll do is move these up. I'll move my mute groups down. There we go. I don't really mess with the feedback too often. It's just a couple points in our show. And it's really difficult to go into the menu, into the effects, into the effect itself, push both the faders, jump back, ride the delay. It's a lot of movement for 1 or 2 spots in our show. So I'm going to put it right there on my main view, and hopefully it'll save me some time. Now, one other thing I like to do with this band is sidechain the keys to the kick so that we get a pumping sound when they're playing more electro-style music. So instead of going into each keyboard channel and turning on each compressor, I'm going to give myself a button here that will just turn all of them on. So we'll hit the plus again, go to General, button, and we can put this one up here. We go to the settings, and maybe I'll make this one a long click so that I don't accidentally sidechain it by tapping the wrong thing, and it has to be a decision. We're going to go up here to current channel, and I'm going to say fixed channel. I don't have enough mix buses available for this to be a stereo mix bus where I could just put it on one. So I am actually doing this on each individual keyboard channel. So I'm going to go here. We're choosing this one, and it's going to be Dynamics on. Now, I could choose to turn on or off the sidechain, but by default, I'm not compressing the keyboards at all. So the only time I need the compressor is when I want to use the sidechain. So we're going to do that. We'll hit Add Action. We'll do the exact same thing. Fixed channel. I'm going to go to the other keyboard channel and go to Dynamics and turn them on. We've got 2 keyboard players for a total of 4 keyboard lines. So here we go. Dynamics on. One more. Dynamics on. Great, and maybe I just want to color it. We'll make it magenta That's the color of all my keyboard channels. So there we go. Now if I hold this, it will turn on the compressor on my keyboard channel. One other effect I like to use with this band is a chorus. So the chorus does have a tap here. So I'm going to go back to General button. I'm going to put that right beside my delay tap. And we're going to select Touch. Go to Console, Effects. And it's going to be the stereo chorus. I'll choose Tap Time, Primary. Go back. And now I can tap both effects. Now before we go any further adding UI items, I apologize, I jumped over something super important, but we'll just do it now. We're going to go back here, and we're going to select what faders we want to see on the screen, what sends we want to see on the right side, and what layers we really need. So I'm going to hold down here. I'm going to hit the reset on the top right. It'll remove all the items from this layer, and we can start from scratch. I'm using these channels for the drums. 7, 8 have nothing in them. The click is just for the drummer. I'll take the bass. I don't need their talkback. That's just amongst the band. The guitar, I don't need the left and right for the keys. I only need the left because it's stereo. Everything's linked. These two keys channels we don't use. My other keyboard player is all the way down here, so I'll put him beside my other keys. Then we're going to put the vocals and the flute and the brass. I'm going to add a blank element so I have a little space here. Then I'm going to add my buses that I use. So I've got a drum bus, a vocal bus, a brass bus. We'll put another blank element, and then we'll put the effects buses. And I've got some DCAs here. I don't really need the drums DCA because I have a drum bus, but we'll add the bass, the guitar, the keys, the brass and the vocals have a bus already, and an instrument bus. So we'll pull those over to be with the other buses. That's sort of the order I like to have them in. We'll assign it a name up top. I'll call it band. Now I have the whole band on this one screen. Incredible. The next layout, I don't need these, but what I do like to have is the DJ separately, because we do a lot of corporate events and weddings with this band. So when the band's not playing, the DJ's playing, and often there's speeches. So I'll put the DJ, I'll add a blank element, and we have a microphone we regularly use for speeches. And I'll put another blank element, and I'll put the lead singer's microphone because he often introduces people for speeches. I can name this layer DJ. Maybe we'll set it to a different color. If you're not seeing all your channels when you're doing this, I've already gone over this in my overview video, but you go into settings, layers, and you could choose how many channels you want in a layer. I leave it on fixed so that it doesn't matter if I add or remove channels, it just resizes for me. While we're here in the layers, I don't need 23 to 32. And this is stereo in-ears, so I can take that off. The drums are also a stereo in-ear. This is a stereo bus. I actually don't need to see it for sends on fader. It's already set up. Same thing with the vocals and the brass. I like to leave the effects there, so if I want to add or remove effects from something. My matrices are already configured, so I don't need to see them. And I don't need my gains. So we can go back, and I've got a lot less on the side here. Maybe I don't need two different layers for the buses, so we can put all of the buses on one here. And And I'll go back to layers, and I will just delete that additional bus layer. And we can edit right from here if we want. And we could call this mix buses. We could even give it a color if we'd like. This can be cyan, sure. All right. I don't really need these auxes either, so we'll go back into layers and delete the aux layer. Now if I hit back, I've got pretty much everything there, and then this one scrolls. If we go back to band, we can see our mute group button working. I have it set so that it doesn't mute the lead singer, so that if he's making an announcement in between, that doesn't affect it. And if we go to our mix buses and I hold here, you can see it mutes my monitors. You'll see it doesn't mute all of them because most of them are on in-ears. All right, so let's see what else we can add to this layout. Let's go back to the cog layouts, and here we can choose edit. Let's resize this. Now this isn't something I typically do, but for the purpose of this video, I'll show you. We've already gone over a couple of the preset options here, but the channel items will allow you to control channel actions. Channel strip items will allow you to control mixer parameters that are not specifically channel actions. General is what we looked at earlier when I was adding a custom button, and this is pretty much things that they're just items within Mixing Station that you can customize. Mixer will allow you to control parameters of the mixer, so you can add the sends on fader buttons, the layout, the things that we actually already have here on the screen. Metering is going to allow you to add different meters, and show is if you would like a list of your scenes. So right now I'll show you a meter bridge, which is pretty fun. We could put this up top. So there you can put your meter bridge up top. You can't customize exactly what meters you want to see in there, but you have all of your console's meters. Other things you can add that we didn't really look at here are, let's say, a fader. We don't really have space for a fader here, but I'll squeeze one down here. This size isn't really practical, but for demonstration purposes, we'll go into the settings here, and let's say we want to assign this to our subwoofer. Okay, so I have my subs are running through the mono channel of the mixer. So we can go fixed channel, and I can choose main, mono, and then under here it's main, fader. So we'll go back here. And now I'll go to preview so I could show you. Over here on the right, you'll see my mono channel is affected by this fader. It's very difficult to control because it's so small. Maybe if we set it to fine. Still not that great. But maybe you want a fader for your monitor mix. If you're a musician doing this, you could customize the layout to just have the channels you like in your monitor, and you can have your monitor mix on the right side for the overall mix. So what I'm going to do is actually remove that because that's not useful to me. And I'm going to delete this meter bridge up here. So I like to have as much of the length of the screen as possible for my faders. There we go. And that's how I set up a custom layout in Mixing Station. Hopefully this gives you some ideas for building your own workflow and getting the most out of the app. If you have any questions or custom layout ideas you want me to cover, drop them in the comments below. And if you got value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.